Good morning from Memphis. It is about 3 minutes after 3 in the early morning hours of Wednesday, June 15th, 2022. And I'm outside in the vacant parking lot outside my apartment complex over here. It's a vacant parking lot that they've never put anything in. I'm grateful for that. There's been talk of putting a drugstore or a fast food or something. I'm glad they haven't. The owners of the property have not used this, so I'm grateful for that. I can come out here and meditate at night, look at the stars. I really enjoy doing that. And out here tonight in the sky, we have a unique grouping, as always. Early this morning was the strawberry moon, which was kind of in the news. There's a whole story behind that, which I'm not entirely familiar with, but the moon is at its closest approach to Earth, called perigee, Perigee. Its closest approach. It was this morning at 7:39 a.m. So it looks, slightly larger in the sky than it ordinarily does. It's not really noticeable to the eye, but it's slightly larger. If you were to have a picture of the moon at its farthest point and at its closest point, you would notice the difference. But right now, its closest approach is 222,000 miles from the Earth. That's about 20,000 miles closer. Actually, 18,000 miles closer to Earth than average. The average distance is 240,000 miles. I'm going to have to look up the number, but the farthest distance is close to 250,000 miles. I'll have to look up the exact number, but I read today, and I recall from prior readings, that the closest approach is 222,000 miles. And that's a little more in people's minds because it appears larger, the closest approach, so the full moon appears larger. So that's why that number is a little more well known. But on average, 240,000 miles away, that's 30 times the diameter of the Earth. So that's pretty cool. The moon's orbit around the Earth is not a perfect circle, but an ellipse, as are all the orbits of all the planets in the solar system and all the moons. And if there's a huge mass difference between the objects, then there could be something approaching a perfect circle, but there really is no such thing. But other than the strawberry moon, we've got Saturn, which is... Try to get that in. There it is. With the full moon, Saturn's almost below the visibility of the camera, but not quite. Right there in the middle of the screen, Saturn. 900 million miles from the sun, almost a billion miles from the sun, so it's mighty chilly out there. 10 times farther away than the Earth is. Minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit. On average. So just unimaginably cold. Of course, Saturn has 80 known moons, tied with Jupiter. I've noticed the key word being known. There may be others that we have yet to discover, because the giant planets have such a large hill sphere. What a hill sphere is the gravitational area where the planet's gravity is stronger than that of the sun, so any objects in the hill sphere will orbit the planet rather than the sun. course, over here, let me zoom back out. Jupiter is well bright enough to see with this camera. Also 80 known moons. And below, and to Jupiter's left, right above the tree line, there is Mars. And we can make that out right in the middle of the screen there. Mars has 2 moons, which I always thought would be kind of cool to have 2 moons in the sky at night. But I'm happy that we've got 1 beautiful moon. Of course, Venus will be rising in roughly 45 minutes or so, but I don't plan to be out here that late. But if I am, I will be sure to make another video, but I do not plan to be out here that late. So I'm just admiring the night sky here. It's just so peaceful, especially after the roasting hot day we had. It was close to 100 degrees, but I've actually gotten used to that. It's not as oppressive to me as it once was. I'm able to deal with it much better than I was when I first moved down south 20 years ago from Wisconsin. At the time, I'd spent a year in Wisconsin. I moved to Memphis, and it was just it was quite a change. My first day down here was in July of 2002, and it was 97 degrees. I pulled in with my air-conditioned moving van. I stepped out, and I questioned what I had done. Be that as it may, it is a beautiful morning here. 3 bright planets, soon to be 4, and the full strawberry moon. And I thank you for watching.